As hunters, we put a lot of value on fair chase, which means we give the animal a fair chance to get away, to live another day. We don't stack the odds unfairly in our favor. With the way the point system works for allocating tags, we don't really give ourselves a fair chance. People are allowed to stack the deck in their favor. Maybe it's time to adopt a new philosophy, another core tenet, one of fair chance. Let me put a hypothetical example out there. Those of us who would love to hunt an Aguila, say we had to put $20 into a pot, and every year we did that, we know we wouldn't get a chance to hunt. But after maybe 30, 40 years of putting in for that hunt, and then finally getting it when we're 60, 70, 80 years old, we'd know that that was the only shot we had. Now say you had to do that for every high value hunt you ever wanted to go, no matter what state you were in. That's the case for most of the West. You're not going to get one of those high value hunts if you start applying today, next year, the year after that. Many of those hunts are just too far out of reach given the way the point creep system is working. I've been a lifelong hunter for 30 years. Last 4 years I spent hunting New Mexico. The current New Mexico system doesn't allow for point creep. It has even odds of success regardless of how much money you make. You can't stack the deck in your favor, and we should keep it that way. We're going to talk about what the different point systems are, what point creep is, and why the fair chance system of New Mexico is the fairest and therefore the best system we can use. So now we're going to talk about point creep and the different preference points and bonus point systems and how they work. Preference points, they work in a way where you get a point every time you apply for a hunt and you don't draw. Each year you get another point added to your name. The more points you have, the higher you are on the list of drawing a tag. Those with 18, 19, 20 points mean they haven't drawn a tag in 18, 19, 20 years. If they want to cash in their points in any given year, there's a good chance they'll get their tag if they've had 18, 19, 20 points to their name. Once you draw a tag, the point total goes down to 0 and you have to reaccumulate points again. Basically, according to Brody Henderson of themeter.com, the best way to explain it is allocation starts with the highest point holders and works downward. Now, a bonus point system is different. It offers points to the hunter, same as preference points every single year, but instead of putting you in a rack and stack formula, each year you don't draw, that increases your odds. So you can draw a tag the very first year you apply. You're not necessarily put in front of people just because you have more points. But every year you don't draw, your odds are increased. Shandy Martinez from Hunt and Fool, she put it best in the December 2019 blog post. The more points you have, the more names you have in the hat. In most states, here's where it gets tricky. In most states, you don't even need to apply for a hunt to get preference point or bonus point. You can just simply pay a fee to acquire the points and not even apply for a hunt. Just put those in your bank account, so to speak. You draw a tag, your points get turned in. You don't draw a tag, you get to keep those points. But you don't even have to apply for a tag. So the point purchasing system, which I just described, is what it's supposed to allow flexibility to allow you to hunt when you're available to hunt in any given year. But what it also allows for is those with the means to buy tags for multiple species in multiple states every year, they're never going to go on all those hunts. They're just going to keep acquiring those points and therefore inflating the cost of these hunts due to their accumulation of points. So I'll kind of explain it here. We're going to talk about what's called point creep. It's a supply and demand issue. The more points there are in circulation, which is because people pay for points, they don't spend them, they don't apply, they just put them in their bank account, putting them in circulation, meaning there's more points out there, the same way you'd have more dollars out there in the market. The more dollars are out there, the less valuable a dollar is, the less the more they call that inflation. So when you have more points in circulation, there's a higher point cost with high demand hunts. Also, you're limited by individual profit margins. You can only get 1 point per species per year, but it doesn't limit how many individuals can apply for points. It doesn't affect the animal populations. Those are always fluctuating. If there's a ratio of applicants to tags that stays the same or goes up, then obviously it's going to cost more points per hunt every single year. In fact, in Colorado, it's proved. Dave Hosher in Easton's blog, he put kind of the data out there, and these tables and show that the last 20 years, the ratio for applicants to tags drawn has nearly doubled for deer and elk, because there's a higher demand plus a higher inflation from purchasing points. Means there's a higher point total cost per hunt. So that's the truth in nearly every western state. Everyone's got either a preference or bonus point system. It makes it almost impossible for hunters to draw one of those highly coveted tags. But in New Mexico, and I guess Idaho too has the same system, there's no way to stack the odds in your favor, and that's why I believe we should keep this system as it is. There's no point system in place. It means it's simply a ratio in New Mexico of tags versus applicants. You go to the Game and Fish website, people say non-residents are stealing the tags. They're not stealing tags. You go to the Game and Fish website, it's clear, cut and dry. They give 84% of the tags to residents, 10% of them to outfitters, which is the sticking point people have an issue with, and 6% to non-residents. That means if you're a non-resident applying for a tag in the draw, you're fighting for 6% of those tags as opposed to 84% for the people who actually live here. The main sticking point is that 10% to outfitters. You can spend $15,000 a year in New Mexico. Here's the problem: you can spend $50,000, $20,000 for a high value elk tag in a nice unit, and go elk hunting here every year. And that's the main point of contention people have. However, those tags that people are spending $15,000 for, there's only 10% of the tags. That's why it costs so much, because it's supply and demand again, inflation. But the inflation is only happening to that 10%. It's only happening to the price of the tag. With the point system, the haves, the people who have the means to invest into the point system and invest in multiple states and multiple species, you're not just inflating the cost of a 10% slice of the pie for a single state. You're inflating the cost of all the tags for all the states. Therefore, it is not a good system. Those who can only apply for 1 or 2 tags a year have no chance against those who can apply for all the tags for all the species every year, and simply just wait till they have enough points in all the states, and then just keep cashing them in every single year and have that rotating every 20 years or so if they hunt for 40, 60 years. Therefore, that's why I believe the point system is not good for New Mexico, and it should stay the way it is, and we shouldn't worry about trying to get a point system. So hopefully we can get one of those tags that people think that they're going to get. This is going to drive it out of our state. It's going to drive all the fairness out of our state. So in conclusion, while many New Mexico hunters, they feel it's unfair that the out-of-state residents can buy a tag every single year. Again, that inflation is only limited to the price of the tag and only to 10% of the tags total. So it does not decrease the chances of someone drawing a high value tag in any of the places. It just increases the cost of buying one of those tags. So we went over what the different point systems are, what point creep is, and also why I think the fair chance system in Mexico is a fair system. The current New Mexico draw system allows for even odds of success regardless of income. The bonus and preference point systems, um, their main attractors are the people who have a lot of points invested in them, and those are the wealthiest people, and ensures they have the best odds. And I think the New Mexico system is fair to all. We should keep it that way. So keep point creep out of New Mexico. Keep people from gaming. Keep people out of gaming the system, and for those who are hunting and they're lucky to get a tag this year, keep grinding for that prize.